welcome to Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. And this week we are talking to Brittany Clayborne. What's up, Brittany?
Not much. How are you?
I am fantastic. First and foremost, thank you so much. I had a last minute cancellation. I put out a feeler like really early this morning, and Brittany was like, yeah, I got you. I'll do it. So thank you so much for saying yes.
It is absolutely my pleasure. I've been wanting to work with you, and this seemed like World Kindness Day, right? It's got to be the perfect opportunity. Always, always, without a doubt.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm going to tell the people about you, and then we're going to jump in and talk about all the things.
Okay, let's talk about all the things whenever you're ready.
Brittany's life journey is a testament to the tenacity of intent. Being a transplant recipient and cancer survivor, Brittany uses her psychological background as well as life experiences to connect, impact, and transform her audience. Brittany's universal message of "Start from here" is a reminder to all that whatever we are seeking to accomplish starts from where we are and is driven by intention, inspired by action, and persistence. She delivers useful, tangible methods to her listeners, creating a captivating, heartfelt, and transformational message that will transcend time. Girl, all of that. All of it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
I don't even know where to start. I guess we can start from here. Okay.
We can start from here. We can absolutely start from here. Do you have any specific questions for me before I just kind of start going in?
Yeah. So where did start from here start from?
Started from here. Start from here started from, as you said, or as you read in my bio, I am a heart transplant recipient and a cancer survivor. And there are so many days throughout the process of being a patient that you truly forget that you're a person. And in the process of that, you feel stifled in life. You feel like, I can't do this. I can't. You take all of these dreams and these hopes that you once had for yourself, for your family, for life, and you literally put them to the side because you have transformed from being a person that can do to a patient that's just trying to survive.
Wow. Okay.
So what Start From Here was about, there are all of these things that I want to do, but I constantly would put them off. I would say, I want to do this, but I have to wait until I get a transplant, or I have to wait until chemo is over, or I have to wait until radiation is over, or I have to wait until, and then I started thinking, why do I have to wait until?
Right.
If I have now, if I have here, why do I have to wait for the perfect conditions to form? And what are the perfect conditions? What is the thing that I'm waiting for? And the question was nothing. I was waiting for myself to stand up within myself and just do it.
Right.
So this master's degree behind me, this side, here we go. Yeah. This master's degree behind me, it's not something that I did sitting in a classroom. It's something that I did sitting in a hospital bed, because when was the perfect time to do it? In ICU, I was waiting for a heart. There was a 3%, 1 to 3% chance that I would get one. And what was I waiting for? If it was something that I wanted to do, if it was something that was going to impact the world or impact my life or impact my son's idea of who I was, or use any of me to change the world, then why not just start from here? Why not just take what it is that I have, which at that point was time.
Yeah.
And do something with it. All of us don't have time on our hands. We're very busy from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. But we have several other things that we can employ. We have kindness, we have joy, we have peace. We have all of these things that we are able to put out into the world. So why wait for the perfect time to put it out? Why not just start from here? Why not say, I've got so much joy, I'm just going to spread that. Or I've got so much kindness. I'm just going to spread that. We don't have to wait for instance, today is World Kindness Day, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to wait for World Kindness Day to be kind. We can make kind loud every single day. And that's the point. That's the purpose of Start From Here is your here might be a hospital bed. It very well might be. Your here might be the middle of a global pandemic.
Yeah.
Your here might be in a job or in a situation where you're not comfortable. But wherever your here is, that's where you start. You take your intention. The thing that I've learned, the thing that has been most impactful to me, or the thing that I will hold on to forever, is the idea of intention.
Mm.
When you, or when anyone decides to set their intention, when we wake up in the morning, we set an intention for the day. I intend to do so on and so forth. And it's the same as making a plan, right? But intention sounds better. It's sexier, right? But if you have that intention, then it makes the day even more purposeful because you have a goal, you have an end goal. And for me, my intention is to help people understand that starting from where they are is not a bad thing. It's the only thing that we can do.
Right.
It's the only thing that we can do. So even here in World Kindness Day, I have to think to myself, what can I do today to be kind? I may not be Apple. I can't give away Apple Watches. I can't. That's not me. I don't have that, right? But I can hop on a video with you and have this conversation and be transparent and be honest. And at the end of the day, my intention is just to share myself. And I've done that today in this way.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So let's talk about how did you get there? You had, you needed a transplant, you needed a heart. So some people may consider that horrible. How did you have such a positive impact? Such an impact that you got your master's degree. What was that mindset like? What was that journey like through that process? Did I lose you?
It was an interesting journey, to say the least. It was a very interesting journey. Let me think about that for a minute. I want to give you the right answer. Let me tell you, I guess, what's
Oh, I think I lost her. She'll be back in a second, but Brittany is amazing. She has such a beautiful story about just how she has used her life, how she has used her story. Oh, she's back.
Back. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
We talked about this. Didn't we just talk about this?
We were just talking, and I was like, yeah, I've only had about 2 or 3 of those happening.
Of course, today would be the day, right? It's fine. We'll keep rocking through it. So I think what you asked me was kind of how I got to that point of transplant and
correct.
And then where. Okay, so I had a heart attack during labor.
Okay.
And it's called peripartum cardiomyopathy, which is just an unexplained weakening of the heart muscle due to pregnancy. Before that, I didn't have any healthy. I had asthma when I was a kid, but besides that, that was it. So I had my son on a Sunday. I went home on Tuesday, and on Friday I went back because when I would go to lie down at night, it felt like someone was laying me down underwater. So I went, and they said, "Yeah, you're you've had a heart attack in the past few days. And I was like, no, I had a baby, but I didn't have a heart attack. So anyway, they said, well, just take these meds and you'll be fine, basically. So I did that for a couple of years. And then I got to the point where the heart was having a very strange rhythm. So I had to have a pacemaker implanted, pacemaker defibrillator. And they said, oh, it's just kind of a fail safe. We don't expect your heart to stop or anything. It's just kind of a fail safe. So from the time I got the pacemaker until my transplant, I died about 7 times.
Wow.
And had to be shocked back. So the eventually, when they see that happening that often, they automatically go, okay, obviously this heart is no longer viable. It's not going to last. So my amazing cardiology and transplant team at UT Southwestern jumped in, and they got me on an LVAD. So when my heart got too weak for me to leave the hospital, they said, you'll stay here until you get a transplant. And that was that 9-month period. And in that 9-month period, waiting in ICU, I got the master's degree. So then I had the LVAD, or it's a left ventricular assist device. They essentially go through a hole in your stomach and connect a pump to your heart.
Okay.
So you lose your pulse, you lose all of those things because this machine is now running your heart. So I had that for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. And then I was actually in the hospital one night, and I got very, very frustrated because the world was still going on outside of me. And I was back in the hospital again. I could not get to that place I was trying to get to start, right? So, so finally, I just kind of, as a woman of faith, I just said, God, you're going to have to do what you're going to have to do, because I can't. I don't have the explanation. I don't have the strength. I'm just kind of done. And that night, I got the call, and my doctor said, Brittany, we have a heart for you.
Wow.
And I'm sorry, what? He said, we have a heart for you. And I can't even explain that moment. I can't explain that moment, because it's literally someone telling you, you get to live.
Yeah.
It's literally someone telling you that you're not done yet. You have more to do. You have more to experience. You have more to take care of on this planet.
Yeah.
And to feel, like I said, when you're a patient, you feel kind of useless. You feel like, I can't be a mother. I can't be a wife. I can't be a daughter. I can't be a friend, because I have all of these conditions that keep me from being who I used to be. But it's actually in that moment we need to start from here, that we need to be transparent and open and our most vulnerable selves, because that type of vulnerability breeds strength in other people.
Yeah.
And if that were to become the theme of our world, instead of pointing fingers at each other and showing the differences that we have, if we were able to come to a point where we said, look, I've gone through this, and you may not have gone through this, but you've gone through something that you have overcome, we would just be better humans.
Yes.
We would just be better humans if we realize that all of the things that separate us are actually the things that make us one.
Yeah. I love that.
I love that I'm alive. When we talk about organ donation and how important it is in every community, I didn't ask what was the age, gender, and race of my donor. I could care less. I would have a heart. Okay, I'm there. I'm there. Whatever time you need me. But my donor, my donor was a 22-year-old Hispanic male.
Wow.
And I have a picture of him. I actually have a picture of him sitting. He's staring at me right now. I have a picture of him sitting right here, because it is because of him that I'm able to have this conversation with you. It is because of him that I'm able to start from here. It's because of him that I'm able to hug my son. It's because of him that I'm able to keep going, how much more beautiful would the world be if we didn't ask the questions of gender or race or religion or sexuality?
Yeah.
If we just ask the question of humanity, which is, how can I help you? What can I do or be for you today? If we removed all of those barriers, how beautiful would we be? How kind would the world be if we were blinded to all of the things that separate us?
And that's when it's all boiled down to it. It does come down to humanity. Because, like you just said, you have a 22-year-old Hispanic heart inside of you, right?
Right.
But it's a heart.
It's a whole.
Yeah. It's a heart that beats and that loves, and that is the reason that you're alive.
Yes. And I
yeah.
will never be able to repay this man. I have never met this man, obviously. And I mean, I love his family like they are my own. And when you walk into that place of just pure humanity, nothing else matters. Looking at my heart and his heart, you can't tell which one is Black and which one is Hispanic and which one is male or female or Catholic or Christian. You can't tell. You can tell that they are both human.
Right.
And if we just focused in right there, if we just stopped right there, then we would be so much better as just people. So
totally.
I love what you do. I love that your theme is kindness, because without kindness, who are we?
Right.
Who are we truly?
And what's our purpose? I mean, literally, we think about, I think about purpose and passion often, because I truly believe that we are all meant to be here for a reason. You went through what you went through, so that you can be right here today for a reason. And only you have that gift. There might be people who have similar gifts. For example, singers. There are singers who are amazing, but each singer has their own particular song and their own particular tone and their own particular sound. And it's their gift. And we have to be willing and able to be vulnerable enough to stand in our gifts and to share them with the world, because that's what it all boils down to. Like you said, it doesn't have to do with race, religion, sexuality differences, none of that. Right. It has nothing to do with any of that, but it all boils down to the humanity of it all.
That's right. That's absolutely correct. And like I said, my son is 10, and because of where we are now with COVID and all the things, right? Oh, just all the things. COVID, election, all the things, right? Just all the things. Because we are in 2020, right? It's parenting right now is different. It's different. It's different. Because to teach him, be kind. Above all, be kind. Is to teach him not only to be kind to others, but to be kind to himself. Because when they're on, Zoom during class, or when he falls behind in his work, or when he can't, I don't know, jump as high as the kid down the street.
Right.
The first thing that he wants to do, like many of us, is key in on what makes him less than.
Yeah.
And in order to teach him not to do that, I have to do that. I have to step away from my insecurities and step away from my shortcomings and say, what are the good things that make me who I am?
Yeah.
What are the building blocks that contribute to me being the person that I want to be? What do I want to model for him? I don't want to model insecurities for him. I don't want to model my lack of for him. I want to model good, honest self-love and self-care and self-kindness. And so we do these little exercises where I ask him every day, what did you really love about yourself today? And sometimes he'll say, yeah, eat all my salad. And that's all you can do.
I love it.
That's as good as it got today. I ate all my salad. And that's okay. You know, we are so hard on ourselves. And I saw it was really funny this morning. I saw two conflicting posts on my social media feed. I saw one thing that said, don't tell people that they can't be loved unless they love themselves first. And I saw another post that said, you can't love people unless you love yourself first. So it's these two conflicting ideas, but what is the answer to that? Can you love people if you lack self-love? Self-kindness, can you be kind to others? I don't know the answer to that question because it's early and I've only had one cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But what is the answer to that question? Are we able to emulate something to others or radiate it to them if we are not able to emulate it within ourselves?
Yeah, that's a big question.
Right.
And I think the answer is yes and no. You know, for me, at least, I think you can be kind to others and then not kind to yourself. But I think it would be more beneficial if you were kinder to yourself in order for people to just see the light within you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's
absolutely.
easy to go out there and be kind to other people and then have self-doubt talk in your own head. But if you can have that positive self-talk and amplify that out into the world, that's
the word, amplify.
Yeah, that's huge.
Amplify. That's exactly the word. And I believe it was Brené Brown that said, talk to yourself like someone that you love.
Exactly.
There are some things I would never say to my son. So why would I say them to myself?
Yeah.
Some things I would never say to people that I admire. So why would I say them to myself? So when I get up and I look in the mirror and I go, oh my God, your hair's still not growing because of the chemo, or you know, the steroids make you fat or whatever, I would never say those things ever to
someone else. Right.
So why in the world would I stand there and not amplify self-love? It's me. Like, I've got one me.
Yeah.
So why would I not love myself the way that I love the people that I love?
Yeah.
And how do we balance that? How do we check? How do we do those self-checks to make sure that we are loving ourselves in a way that we love the people closest to us?
Yeah. I think that starts with what you're doing with your son. Is you want him to be self-aware. You want him to have a good perspective of who he is. So you're trying to model that behavior for him. And it starts with the kids. And I think kids have it in them already. They already have that, right? And then life gets to them, the adults in their life tell them whatever they tell them. And then it changes. And then here we are at, 30, 40, trying to get back what we had when we were 5 and 6. You know what I'm saying? So if we can foster that in the kids,
absolutely,
they can hold on to it and carry it with them, this world would be such a different place. But it starts with wanting to be better so that the next generation can be better. And I think you're doing that with your son.
That's absolutely true. So what if we did what would we call it? Youthful kindness? How do you encapsulate that kindness? You know, because you see kids and they just walk up to somebody on the playground and start playing. They're like, this is my best friend. You're like, you have 2 minutes and he cannot have some of your ice cream. But if it was up to them, they would share everything they have.
Yeah.
So how do we as adults take that lesson from children and say, this is the kindness I want to be as kind. Let me, how would I put this? You ever had a baby that's a pacifier and you say, give me some, and they're like,
right.
They're like, sure. Yeah. Like, how do we do that? How do we become the baby with the pacifier, right?
Yeah.
That wants to share. And that goes, you know what? I'm enjoying it. You might enjoy this too.
Yeah, have some. I want it back, but have some. Yeah.
Have some, exactly. So how do we create that within our communities and on our social media timelines? How do we create that idea of you're just another kid on the playground and I want you to have as much fun as I'm having?
Yeah.
I want you to smile and laugh and have a good day just like I'm having. How do we make that loud?
It's all about the intention, as we talked about at the very beginning, and you say in your bio and what you're all about. It's about the intention, because I don't know how much you know about me, but prior to my kindness journey, I was super sarcastic. Like, sarcasm was my go-to. That was my default, right? And
Yeah.
so I was locked and loaded, ready at all times.
Rambo belt and everything, right? Just
Okay,
ready.
listen. Oh, okay, I got you. I was ready at all times. And I can laugh about it now, because what you were talking about, how you're doing it with your son and how you want to model that behavior. I have 24 nieces and nephews.
Whoa.
And one of my nieces.
Wait a minute. Wait. I gotta clap now. That's incredible.
Thank you. You know, some of them are old. I have old nieces.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You still, the fact that I know you know their names. So that is impressive.
Thank you. I know their names and in order of birth.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
I love them so much. And one of my nieces would always tell me, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And she was like 15 at the time. She's 24 now. So at the time she was 15, and I was thinking, listen, you little 15-year-old, whatever, do what I tell you to do. Go do your homework. You know, I'm popping my neck, do everything I tell you to do. I'm the adult in this situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it would go on and on until one day somebody said something to me that was crazy. And I thought to myself, why did you say it like that? And then her little 15-year-old voice popped in my head and said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if I wanted to be intentional, and if I wanted to model behavior for my 24 nieces and nephews, and I want them to be kind humans, productive citizens of the world, right, and all of that, then I had to model that behavior. So that's how that journey started. And it goes back to what we were talking about, going back to what we knew as kids, and somehow it got away from us. So right, if we can hold on to it and keep it, because as you say, you know, kids, they just want to play. I've witnessed it. We've all witnessed where kids are run up to each other and then they're having the best old time. It doesn't matter what they look like. They're just having fun.
They're having a good time.
Yeah. And it's the adults in their life that changes that for them. So we as adults have to have that intention and have to be intentional in order not to taint the kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's so what Start From Here comes down to is it's about intentional transformation.
Right.
And it's about, when I say intentional transformation, I mean what you did, your kindness journey has been an intentional transformation of self. Right. You thought, you know what, this is who I want to be. This is who I intend to be. And every day you wake up and you do or have done something to make yourself kinder, to put kindness out into the world. And that's, we wake up with all of these things on our mind, but what if we woke up with intentional kindness on our mind, intentional love on our mind, intentional peace or intentional joy? Because like you said, when that kid wakes up, they just want to have a good day.
Yeah.
Maybe have some chocolate milk and they just have a good day. You know, they're not concerned with some of the things that we are concerned with. They really, have you ever seen a kid dress themselves? Like, they're like, I'm comfortable. So
right. I look good. This is it.
Good. If I'm comfortable, I look good. So we're going. And you're like, you can't wear rain boots in a diaper. That's not going to work for my life today. Yesterday, my son and I were going to go get some food. And I said, come on, buddy, let's go. And I looked down and he had on a red Nike slipper and a green Under Armour slipper. I said, you will not go with me that way. No, you will not. You are absolutely not. And he was like, why?
Right. He was like, what you mean?
And I was like, because you can't. He was like, I like it. That's literally what I like it. So, so I think, like you said, that intention is is so important. And if we truly do everything with intention, whether it's intentional kindness or whether it's intentional love or whether it's intentional success or whether it's intentional peace or whether it's intentional self-love,
Yeah.
it just makes us better. I love this shirt. I have one and my son has one, and it says more hope, more humanity, more acceptance, more love.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's
I
beautiful.
love it. I got it from Five Below. And
Even better.
this shirt because it's so simple, but it's absolutely what we needed. And if I want to remake this shirt and I want it to say intentional hope, intentional acceptance, intentional love, because if we were able to do those things, God, our world would be beautiful.
Yeah.
It would be beautiful. So I thank you so much for intentionally putting kindness out there and bringing people to your conversation that can make kind loud, and then that can put their voices and their thoughts out into the social media world. And one person might see it, a million people might see it, but at the end of the day, you have impacted me, and that
thank you.
is incredible. So thank you so much for your kindness, for your intentional kindness, and for your willingness to share yourself and your story with the world. I applaud you, definitely.
Oh, thank you. And you as well, because, you've gone through so much. And you stand here today in saying it starts from here. Yeah, everybody has stuff, right?
Everybody.
I haven't had a heart transplant, but I've had stuff.
Right.
So exactly. Everybody's stuff is different.
Exactly.
And that's where grace comes in. And
yeah.
that's where it's like,
yes.
If we can just acknowledge that we've all gone through stuff, and that people may come at you sideways, but you have no idea why they're coming at you sideways.
Right.
Like that, it doesn't matter. If we can just offer a little grace.
Absolutely.
And offer
a little grace, right?
Just a little grace, just a little bit.
Grace, absolutely.
Yeah. This world would be different. This world would be different, and not to take everything so personal. I'm not saying stuff doesn't happen that hurt your feelings. Like, my feelings get hurt. I understand that.
Right.
But at the same time, the way they're approaching you, you don't know if they just got a phone call. Right. Or you don't know if they're being beaten at home. You know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly. So that's what I try to remember every single time, is that I don't know their story. And so even though they're showing up this way right now,
this is not necessarily who they are. Exactly.
And it has nothing to do with me.
Yes.
Yeah. So the way you're approaching me has nothing to do with me. And so if we can all understand that, this world will be a better place. And then the more intentional we are, the less it'll be where people are showing up not their greatest self.
That's right. That's
I love that.
Correct. Absolutely correct. And I got chills and stuff. So because you're absolutely correct. So whether it's, I think we can put the word intentional in front of everything. Intentional, intentional self-love, just intention, just pure intention, and knowing that, like you said, it's not always you. It's sometimes it's what they are going through, and to keep that in mind as we go throughout the day and as we meet and impact and bump into other people. Let's be intentional. Let's be intentionally loving. Let's be intentionally human. I'll say this last thing, and then we can wrap it up here. One of the things that I'm going to say, it bothers me just because I don't have a different word for it. People always say, "Oh, but I haven't been through what you've been through. I don't have your story." And I'm going, "No, but you've got yours." Yeah. And that is so important. The things that I have been through, sure, I didn't expect to go through them. It wasn't, that wasn't in my script, but I went through them, and hey, it is what it is. But what other people have gone through, it has made them who they are. And I hope that the people that are listening hear this, if they don't hear anything else. You are beautiful. for whatever you've gone through, for wherever you've been, for wherever you've come from, for wherever you're going. Your story, your struggle, your pain, all of those things that you constantly use to hide behind are the things that make you beautiful.
Yeah.
So you don't need my story or my level of struggle to be worthy of having a story or of having a bad day.
Yeah.
You can have a bad day just because Starbucks got your drink wrong. If that's your story, that's your story. If they were out of pumpkin spice, I would be upset. It's a whole situation for me. But no, that's all I wanted to say is that you don't have to have this monumental level of pain to have a story.
Yeah. And that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's important. It's important because before I had my story, that was my excuse. I don't have a story was my excuse.
Right.
And now I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. You can.
I'm good on the stories.
I'm good. I got enough. I'm fine. Thanks. No, Louisa, thank you so much for having me. It has been an absolute pleasure to spend time with you today.
You're welcome. Thank you again for jumping in and saying, yes, I'll be on. I appreciate the last minute. Yes. And we're going to have to do some more. We'll have to have some more conversation. We'll talk in the background.
Absolutely.
Because you have a light about you and it's beautiful. And I love the way you show up in the world. So thank you for being you.
No problem. Can't be anybody else.
So this has been Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. And this week we were talking to Brittany Clayborne, and she said it starts from here. Okay, it starts from here with being intentional. And you can put whatever you want to put behind that. Intentional love, intentional kindness, intentional hope, intentional humanity.
Yeah.
You have that power. And so we thank Brittany for just giving us all kinds of nuggets of wisdom today. And we will be talking to her more in the future. But stay tuned for next week on another episode of Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks again, Brittany.
No problem. Thank you, Louisa.